I'm Dr. Susan Parker, a urologist and men's health educator, and what you're about to hear is evidence-based guidance for education, not a diagnosis or a substitute for your personal medical care. My goal today is simple and direct, to show you how 3 everyday foods quietly drain male vitality by choking circulation, dulling nerve signaling, and disrupting the hormones that help you maintain a strong, reliable erection. If you've ever noticed that your energy dips after meals, that your hands and feet run cold, or that morning firmness has become less frequent than it used to be, what follows will give you a practical map to reverse course, safely, respectfully, and without gimmicks. Here is the hard truth most men never get told. Erections are a vascular performance first, a nervous system performance second, and a hormonal performance third. The smallest arteries in the male body have to open on command. The lining of those arteries has to release nitric oxide at the right time, and the nerves that carry the green light have to fire cleanly. The 3 foods I'm about to name sabotage exactly those 3 systems. They don't do it overnight, and they don't need to be eaten in huge amounts. They do it slowly and quietly by creating inflammation, sugar spikes, and stiffness in blood vessels that prefer to be elastic and responsive. Once you understand how each food disrupts the chain, the fixes will feel obvious. You won't need to be perfect. You'll only need to be consistent. The first food is refined sugar and ultra-processed starches. I'm grouping them together because your bloodstream treats a large portion of them the same way. Rapid glucose spikes. Think of sweet pastries, candy, frosted breakfast cereals, white bread, regular pizza crusts, large portions of white rice without vegetables or protein, and dessert-style yogurt cups that carry more sugar than a can of soda. What happens in your body is simple biochemistry. A glucose surge demands insulin. Frequent surges lead your cells to become less responsive, so your pancreas has to shout louder the next time. High insulin and frequent spikes shrink the availability of nitric oxide in blood vessels, because the enzyme that releases nitric oxide from your arterial lining, endothelial nitric oxide synthase, struggles in an inflamed, high-glucose environment. Less nitric oxide means less dilation when you need it. Sugar spikes also create advanced glycation end products, tiny molecular rust spots that make tissues stiffer and nerves less sensitive. The result isn't just a sleepy brain after lunch. It's a vascular system that loses the quick, elastic response you rely on for firm performance. There's a second piece to the sugar story. Repeated spikes deplete your body's antioxidant defenses. When glucose remains elevated, your mitochondria, your energy engines, produce excess reactive oxygen species. If there's not enough antioxidant capacity on board, those free radicals chew up nitric oxide before it can do its job. You might feel this as a subtle loss of stamina or as a heavier, sluggish feeling after meals. Over months and years, the pattern becomes measurable. Waist circumference creeps up, fasting glucose rises, triglycerides climb, blood pressure follows, and morning firmness becomes less dependable. None of that is fate. It's the mechanical outcome of eating in a way that keeps vessels inflamed and nerves dulled. The fix is immediate and practical. If you love rice, switch half your usual white rice for an equal volume of beans and vegetables. The fiber and protein flatten the glucose curve. If bread is part of your life, trade the soft white loaf for a dense, whole-grain sourdough that digests more slowly, and pair it with olive oil or protein rather than jam. If you drink sweet coffee beverages, move to coffee with milk or an unsweetened version and let your taste buds adjust over 2 weeks. They will. If dessert is a nightly habit, shrink it to 2 nights a week and make it fruit-forward. Berries with a square of dark chocolate or Greek yogurt with cinnamon. If you control only one variable, control the timing. Take a relaxed 10-minute walk within 20 minutes after meals. The muscle contractions in your legs pull glucose out of the bloodstream without needing as much insulin. Most men notice a clearer head and, after a few weeks, a warmer sensation in their hands and feet, and a more reliable response when they're with their partner. The second food is anything that lists partially hydrogenated oils, or that reliably delivers trans fats and pro-inflammatory industrial oils. Packaged pastries that stay soft for weeks, frosting tubs, certain commercial crackers, and deep-fried fast foods that soak up repeatedly heated oils. Trans fats and repeatedly heated seed oils injure the endothelium, the delicate lining of your blood vessels, by increasing oxidative stress and by embedding misshapen fatty acids into cell membranes. When those membranes are stiff, the signaling that triggers nitric oxide release becomes sluggish. Your vessels lose their youthful ability to dilate instantly. Imagine trying to inflate a brittle balloon. That is what a trans fat-damaged vessel feels like at the microscopic level. Even when the label doesn't say trans fat, oils that have been overheated again and again produce oxidized lipid fragments that behave like smoke inside your circulation. They amplify inflammation. They raise small, dense LDL particles that are more likely to interfere with nitric oxide, and they drop HDL functionality, the kind that normally helps clear debris and keep vessel walls tidy. Men often describe the symptom in plain words: "My engine just doesn't rev the way it used to." What they're feeling is a vascular tree that's lost its snap. The antidote lives in your kitchen. Shift your daily fat sources to extra virgin olive oil, avocado, a handful of raw or dry roasted nuts, and fatty fish like sardines or salmon twice a week. Those fats feed the exact opposite processes. They calm inflammation, improve endothelial function, and make cell membranes supple. If fried texture is something you enjoy, use an air fryer with minimal oil and keep temperatures moderate. If you usually buy shelf-stable pastries, replace them with fresh bakery bread that goes stale in a day or two. Perishability is a sign that the product contains fewer industrial stabilizers. When you eat out, rotate what you order. Grilled or roasted options more often, and if you do want fries, share them and pair them with a leafy salad and a lean protein so the overall meal is less inflammatory. Over a month of these swaps, men frequently report a change they didn't expect. Steadier mood, less afternoon dip, and a calmer, more responsive physical baseline when intimacy arrives. The third food is processed meats high in sodium and nitrite: hot dogs, certain sausages, cured deli meats, and snack sticks that don't need refrigeration. These products are convenient, tasty, and problematic for circulation. The high sodium stiffens arteries by altering the way your vessel wall regulates fluid and muscle tone. You can feel that stiffness as higher blood pressure, which silently reduces blood flow where you most want it to be strong. Nitrite used in processed meats isn't inherently evil. Your body can convert natural nitrate from vegetables into beneficial nitric oxide. But in the context of processed meats, nitrite can form nitrosamines under high heat, and those compounds add oxidative stress that erodes endothelial function. Many processed meats also carry a load of advanced glycation end products because of the way they're cured and browned, further raising inflammation. Replacing processed meats doesn't mean abandoning flavor or satisfaction. Choose freshly cooked poultry, roasted turkey slices you cut yourself, grilled fish, or lean cuts of beef or pork you season at home with herbs, garlic, and citrus. Use minimally processed ham or prosciutto sparingly and in thin slices paired with tomatoes and olive oil, so the overall meal moves in a heart-healthy direction. If you love the convenience of a quick protein, make a batch of olive oil-packed tuna with diced celery and herbs, or cook extra chicken thighs on Sunday and slice them for weekday lunches. For breakfast, trade the daily bacon for a vegetable omelet with feta and a side of berries. Reserve the bacon for a weekend treat. What you'll notice after a few weeks is subtler than weight loss and more relevant to your goal. Your resting blood pressure drifts lower, your pulse pressure tightens, and your warmth and stamina improve. Those are the three culprits: refined sugar and ultra-processed starches, industrial trans fat-rich products and repeatedly heated oils, and nitrite-heavy processed meats. Now let's connect the dots to what you want to feel. Erections are an elegant dance between the brain, the nerves, and the smallest arteries you own. The penile arteries are narrower than the coronary arteries feeding your heart, so they are often the first place a circulation problem shows up. When a man says, "Everything else seems fine, but my firmness isn't what it used to be," I hear a vascular early warning system asking for attention. Responding early is a gift you give to your future self. Clean up the food inputs that stiffen the dance floor and the music plays more easily. There are supportive foods that act like a backstage crew, setting the lighting and sound so the main performance can shine. You don't need all of them. Pick a few and use them consistently. Dark leafy greens, arugula, spinach, romaine, carry natural nitrate that your body can turn into nitric oxide, especially if your mouth bacteria are healthy. Beets do something similar. Roast them or use a small portion of beet powder in a smoothie on days you want a simple boost. Pomegranate arils and pure pomegranate juice in modest amounts supply polyphenols that support endothelial function. High cocoa dark chocolate delivers flavanols that improve microcirculation. One small square after dinner is enough. Watermelon contains citrulline, an amino acid your body converts to arginine and then to nitric oxide. Enjoy it when it's in season, and lean on other citrulline sources like pumpkin seeds when it isn't. Omega-3. Rich fish lower inflammation and support flexible membranes. Nuts offer magnesium and arginine, both useful for vessel tone. None of these foods are magic. Together, they create a background of flexibility and calm inside your arteries. Hydration deserves plain words. Thick blood moves slowly. Dehydration exaggerates blood pressure swings and makes it harder for small vessels to dilate on command. Start the day with a tall glass of water, drink with meals rather than between snacks, and keep a bottle near your desk. If you drink coffee, enjoy it, but match each cup with water. If you drink alcohol, be honest about the dose. A glass of wine with dinner 2 or 3 nights a week is different from daily heavy pours. Alcohol is a nervous system depressant and a sleep disruptor. Both effects show up quickly in male performance. If you notice that your firmness is worse after nights with alcohol, that is feedback, not a moral judgment. Movement multiplies the benefit of every food change you make. 10 minutes of relaxed walking within 20 minutes of finishing a meal is the most underrated circulation tool I know. You don't have to sweat, you only have to move. Those 10 minutes reduce glucose spikes, signal your arteries to release nitric oxide, and dim the sympathetic stress signal that keeps vessels clenched. If you're able, add 2 short strength sessions per week. Simple movements like chair squats, wall push-ups, and rows with a resistance band. Muscle is an endocrine organ. It releases myokines that improve vessel health and insulin sensitivity. If you've never trained, start with 1 set of each exercise and stop well before fatigue. You're building a signal, not chasing soreness. Sleep is where hormones decide how generous they'll be tomorrow. Testosterone has a circadian rhythm. It likes regular bedtimes, dark rooms, and consistent wake-ups. If your sleep is fragmented, reduce late evening screen light, finish dinner 2 to 3 hours before bed, and keep alcohol away from bedtime. A calmer nervous system means easier dilation when you want it. Men are often surprised by how much better their mornings feel after 3 weeks of boring, beautiful sleep hygiene. Stress management sits alongside food, movement, and sleep. Chronic adrenaline clamps your arteries and chews up nitric oxide. 5 minutes of slow breathing, inhale to a quiet count of 4, exhale to a quiet count of 6. Before meals is an easy way to tell your body, I'm safe. It improves digestion and primes your vessels to respond when you stand up from the table. If your day is intense, scatter 2 or 3 brief breathing breaks. Nerves fire more cleanly in calm tissue. Let's make this real with a 21-day approach you can start today. For the next 7 days, remove obvious refined sugar at breakfast and after dinner. If breakfast is usually a frosted cereal, move to eggs with spinach or Greek yogurt with a handful of berries and chopped nuts. If dessert is a nightly habit, shrink it to 2 nights and make fruit the star. Add 1 10-minute walk after your largest meal. That is week 1. In week 2, attack the second food. Replace packaged pastries and deep-fried sides with fresh bakery bread that goes stale in a day, or with oven-roasted potatoes you make yourself. Use olive oil instead of margarine. If you eat out, choose grilled options and share any fried food. Add a second 10-minute walk after another meal. In week 3, remove processed meats from weekdays. Batch cook roasted chicken or turkey and use fresh fish twice. Add leafy greens and a beet or 2 to your grocery cart. Keep the 2 post-meal walks. At the end of 21 days, you will feel the difference. Steadier energy, better temperature in your hands and feet, clearer mornings, and a more reliable response when you want intimacy. Those are the early markers that your vessels are behaving like themselves again. Men like numbers. So here are simple checkpoints you can track without a clinic visit. Measure your waist at the level of your navel first thing in the morning once a week. Moving that number down by even 1 centimeter often correlates with better insulin sensitivity. Count how many mornings per week you wake with a natural sense of firmness. Trending up by 1 or 2 days is meaningful. Take your blood pressure at the same time of day a few times per week. A gradual drop toward the 100s and 20s, systolic with a relaxed heart rate in the 60s to 70s, is a friend to your goals. Keep a 1-line journal. Energy steady after lunch, yes or no? That line will tell you if your post-meal walk and food swaps are flattening your glucose curve. Cravings are not personal failures. They are signals. Sugar cravings often mean you underate protein or fiber at the prior meal or that you're dehydrated. Answer them with a glass of water and a protein-rich snack. Greek yogurt, a small handful of nuts, a slice of roasted turkey, rather than with more sugar. A desire for salty processed meats often means you want savory satisfaction. Pre-season roasted chicken thighs with garlic, paprika, and lemon. Keep them in the fridge and reheat gently. They scratch the same itch without the vessel penalty. The urge for fried texture can be answered with an air fryer and a moderate portion of homemade potato wedges or chickpeas. You are retraining preferences, not fighting them. Supplements can be helpful, but they are not the first line. If your foundation is steady, low sugar spikes, clean fats, minimal processed meats, post-meal walking, then certain additions may support vascular tone. Beet powder or concentrated beet juice before exercise can nudge nitric oxide. Pomegranate extract offers polyphenols. A high cocoa dark chocolate square in the evening is a pleasant flavanol source. If you take medications or have conditions like kidney disease, discuss supplements with your clinician. The reason to start with food, walking, sleep, and stress is that those levers move the needle for nearly everyone and carry the fewest risks. Let me speak directly to men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who have begun to internalize the message that decline is inevitable. The biology of your vessels is more responsive than the culture gives it credit for. The arteries in your pelvis learn from what you do today. If you remove the 3 foods that stiffen and inflame them, and you give them daily signals to open, through walking, through greens and beets, through olive oil and fish, they behave more youthfully. That is not a promise of perfection. It's the biological default when you stop fighting your own physiology. If you live with a partner, invite them into the process. Prepare a simple greens and beans dinner together, walk together after your meal, and notice how conversation feels easier when you are side by side. The nervous system settles when we move in rhythm with someone we trust. That calm bleeds into how you relate, how you listen, and how you approach closeness. The food changes you make for your vessels end up improving your connection in small, genuine ways. What about busy weeks, travel, holidays? You don't need to white-knuckle your way through real life. Use rules that flex. If you are at an airport, look for a bowl with brown rice, grilled chicken, and double vegetables. Ask for sauce on the side. If colleagues order burgers and fries, consider a bunless burger with a side salad and steal 3 fries for the taste. Then walk as a group before heading back. If family gatherings revolve around cured meats and pastries, fill half your plate with salad first, add a small portion of the richer items, and pour sparkling water with lime so your hand is busy with something that isn't alcohol. None of this is about deprivation. It's about steering the night toward better vessel behavior tomorrow. Let's return to where we started. 3 foods that silently dismantle the chain you rely on for a dependable erection. Refined sugar and ultra-processed starches blunt nitric oxide and dull nerves. Industrial trans-fat heavy products and repeatedly heated oils stiffen cell membranes and inflame vessel walls. Processed meats drown your circulation in sodium and nitrite byproducts that tighten arteries and raise pressure. Remove or radically reduce those. Add leafy greens, beets, olive oil, nuts, fish, and a square of dark chocolate. Hydrate, walk 10 minutes after meals, sleep on a schedule, and breathe slowly when you feel rushed. The body is built to reward that pattern. If you want one sentence to carry out of this video, it's this: protect the lining of your blood vessels, and your erection will often take care of itself. If what you heard today makes sense, try it for 21 days. Pay attention to your energy after lunch, the warmth in your hands and feet, your morning firmness, and your patience in conversation. Those are your dashboard lights. When they brighten, you'll know your vessels heard you. And if you found this useful, share it with a friend who wants respectful, real guidance, and subscribe for more clear, science-based steps you can actually live with.